Good evening. Welcome to another social scene of San Francisco by night, Hunter the Vigil. Uh, Today we're going to be visiting uh, Mr. Perun's shop, the Oddest Ants Trading House. Uh, Cassandra did a search because Ruben was making her a grappling gun that they need to improve. So she needs better, more heavy duty materials to make sure that it's sturdy and good. And from the search that she has done, she found that Oddest Ends Trading House is a good place to start looking for unusual materials or hard to get materials. So she's going to make her way over there. Now on to you, Mr. Perrin, to describe what you're doing at the moment.
All right. Um, Perrin is in his shop. He's behind his counter, like he normally is. Just going through the books, checking everything, going through the different files. The shop itself is quite a unique shop. It's fairly a small storefront shop with what appears to be a large warehouse behind it. Um, the front end where the shop is has basically a nice mahogany counter, then with several book racks with large um, leather binders stacked on the racks, where he keeps all the records of the different items he has in store, everything else. He also has behind there what looks to be a very nice tea set with one of those instant boiling hot pots for nice warm water. Um, Past the counter on the actual storefront, there are several different displays with different knickknacks. This is ranging from one corner that has behind a locked case several what looks to be more antique or stylish looking weaponry. On another side, it has what looks to be different types of jewelry, different decorations. Another um, another display has different little household artisanal items, like the stuff you would find on back in 2020 on, say, Etsy. And his shop has all sorts of little things, as well as what looks like um two double end mahogany sitting desks with one of those um almost library lights that suspend upwards, cross over it, um on each of the desks, and comfy but not too comfy chairs for people to sit down so they can go through the books.
Okay. Uh, Cassandra will go through the entrance, start looking around curiously at all the weird things there, wondering, would this be the right place? This doesn't look like a hardware store or something like that. So it's curious. And she will start walking towards the counter.
Um, at that, as you walk in, a little electric bell chimes, and um, when it does, um, Perrin will look up, and go, I'll be, or start looking up as he raises his hand as he's still writing in the book, and he'll be like, I'll be with you in one moment, ma'am.
Um, Hi, are you Mr. Voltrick?
He looks up and he goes, blinks, and um, as a look of recognition comes over his face, but then he shakes his head a little bit as if to clear thought, and goes, "Yeah,
Weren't you,
ah, so it is you."
uh, that is strange?
Gives a small shrug and goes, "Perhaps, S- um, perhaps not.
I don't know, I'm
I
starting
find
to get used to many coincidences lately.
the company has been off and on using my services for years, so I'm not really so. It is a surprise to see you here, but I do seem to attract those within the company's profession, as it were."
Well, that was completely unrelated. I just searched for a place to find certain materials, and that's what I got on my search. I didn't come here
Exactly.
to the company.
I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. He gives his best customer service smile. My shop is known for knickknacks and odd ends. Those within are the company's line of work, who are contracted out to the company, tend to need very random supplies. Yes? So normally they show up. I eventually get all sorts of people working there to show up here looking for my. It gives a small wave of his hand, services.
Okay.
Anyways, it's you. The name holds out his hand. As you know, I'm Baron Voltrick, and you are.
Cassandra Fletcher. Nice
It's
meeting you.
it's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Fletcher. Now, how may I help be of service?
Well, I'm looking for something very specific, but also I'm not 100% an expert on the materials that I'm going to be needing. Um, I would need something like a very heavy duty cord that could be long but light and durable, not bulky, and could support a couple of humans worth of weight.
You want something like a nanofiber woven Tesla or um nanowoven fiber steel cord. Yes?
I think that would probably work, yes.
Alright. He'll reach over to one one of the books, pause, then go tap his hand on it, then go, no, not that one. See, it's in, then sort of spider walk his hand across several of the books before eventually reaching another book. These are all marked with numbers. Then pull it down and opens the book. Um, and 1 second. And as he does so, he'll start paging through the book, and then eventually come across here we go. I don't actually have a nanofiber rope in, but I do have a graphene woven woven cord that could potentially be what you're looking for. It's
How pliable is it? Like, how much space would it take? Let's say if we want a good length of a few stories high, pretty much. Uh, is that
it's
too much?
for the most part it is extremely flexible, fairly durable. It most likely would work for what you're seeking. One downside to it, or positive, depending on what exactly you're looking to do with it, I don't ask, is it is quite conductive.
That could be potentially dangerous.
Most likely we could coat it in a polymer of some sort to block any conductive, block any energy. However, with it, you could probably, in addition to whatever your plans are, add a current to this rope to cause it to either constrict or tighten up or hold a shape.
Holding shape, I don't know how useful that would be, but. Well, it's for. Well, trying to make a grappling gun. A grapple hook gun. Pretty much.
I see. Well, this would work for that. The wire is thin, quite thin, and it is quite flexible and durable. One proposal that you could do with this material that you could not do with a nanofiber is you could always use electric current and attach in place of the actual grappling a powerful magnet.
That
Or
could work for some situations, but not
a mix between
others.
if you have the right crafter, uh, a mix between a grappling hook and the magnet. It'll give you a certain perch that just a simple grappling hook would not normally give you. Yeah?
That is actually a very good proposition. Like if you could turn on and off the magnetic properties of the hook, that would be actually very useful.
And luckily for you, I just happen to have one of these nice strong magnets. He gives he says with a grin.
Well, a strong magnet, if it can't be demagnetized, might be a problem.
That's why you use the electrical current. It's sorry, I should clarify. It's a magnetic receiver.
Okay. Um, I have to ask, what would the prices for these items be?
He lists off 2 prices. The fiber is about 3 resources. The magnet itself is 2 resources. He also says he will take trades.
So, what kind of trades are we talking about here?
Well, normally I prefer items, as it were. Items of comparable value, of interest. However, I'm willing to take information as well.
Anything specific?
He gives a small shrug and says something of value. I'm not really sure. I couldn't really say what I would want, as I don't know you, so I don't know what information you might have.
Well, it's not a matter of what information I have per se, it's about what information I can find, and that's a very broad spectrum. I'm actually a PI.
Noted. Tell you what. Here's what I'll make a deal with. I'll give you the cord and the cord and the magnet in return. Here's the 2 things I want.
Listen.
First dibs on any interesting antiquities you might come across during your little hunting trips. Mind you, I don't want something with all the voodoo magic shit.
Well, that's good, because I'm not really sure I'm buying any of that magic shit. If I'm being honest here, I'm a bit of a skeptic.
Oh, hon. I'll tell you what I told my team. When you've been around the block as long as I have, you learn to accept that you don't know everything.
Oh, I know far from everything. However, so far, I haven't seen concrete evidence. Let's say just circumstantial here and there, and things that could probably be explained by logical means, by either technology or science. So, you know.
Gives us, yeah. So he'll give a small nod at that. Like, okay, I'm not going to try to convince you one way or another. As he says, second, for the magnet, why don't you tell me about how Section 9 recruited you in your first stay there?
I'm pretty sure the method was shared among everyone that was there. In my case, as well as one other that I know for sure, and the rest of my team, it was a letter with a wax seal.
And he goes, was it the seal, and then describes the seal to the letter.
Yep,
Interesting.
I still have the seal.
And what exactly how exactly did they go about recruiting you? What was their pitch?
pretty questionable story that I cannot confirm. I'm not sure if I want to say much because I don't know how much of it is actually true. Let's say they claimed that I had been assaulted by a supernatural being and I was in a critical condition, and that I was injected with some serum that fixed me. But,
The super soldier serum.
well, I don't know what serum it is because they haven't really told me what it is, what it does, what effects I can expect, what side effects, what adverse effects. None of that. I haven't been told. I don't even know for sure if I was actually injured because I am drawing a blank on that time, and that's really bothersome because I don't forget, like, ever. So I really don't know exactly what to tell you here.
Alright. Yeah, let's see. Going through. Were you recruited by Mr. X?
No, I was recruited by Mrs. X. As far as names go, not very inventive or creative if you ask me.
Raises eyebrow, makes a note. Can you describe her?
Well, the player does not remember shit about what she looks like. The character does remember every little detail and will describe her to the tiniest detail, even her very interesting watch that she was fumbling with for some reason that nobody knows.
Raises an eyebrow at her description, makes a note in his book or his notebook, then goes, and what day were you recruited on?
She will say what day it was, but I don't know what day it was.
He'll stop, pause at this.
I think, was that after your group or before?
Nope, it was on the same date.
Oh, it was on the same day, okay.
It was on the same exact day. He'll pause at this and go, what exactly did they show you?
A chained up man, which they then proceeded to burn alive.
He'll blink twice. Can you describe this man?
Yeah, she will describe him. Very detailed what he looked like.
Interesting. Curiouser and curiouser.
Well, that man that was there, actually one of my team knew of him. If that would help you, may I ask why you need all this information?
Needless to say, the company doesn't exactly. What do you think of the company?
Well, if I am to speak to you about this, I'm going to need at least some assurances that what is being said is going to be confidential and kept between the two of us.
Me, you, and maybe Bowser.
Who?
Gives a whistle, and you hear a flap from behind like a flapping dog door, pet door, from behind the counter, and out comes bounding a rather large Rottweiler.
Oh, gosh. That's Bowser?
He Perrin nods as he bends down and scratches behind Bowser's ear as Bowser bounds up to him and just leans up against him, his tail and his entire butt shaking back and forth.
Well,
As
I
before Bowser
guess...
notices you and starts and goes, "New person." Not actually saying new person, but
Okay, good, because for a
gets
second I
it.
thought it was a talking
Yeah.
dog and I was like,
No,
Freddy!
just does the whole dog, "New person." Look. And suddenly bolts over towards you.
Well, I guess Mr. Bowser seems trustworthy.
Bowser, heal. Bowser hangs his head, then turns around, trots back, and sits by Baron's side. Baron just reaches down, scratches him, and says, "All right. Bowser is the most trustworthy boy. So,
So we'll look around a bit. Are you sure this location is secure, not watched or bugged or anything? Could
I've
be
got
paranoid, but
soundproof, and I sweep for bugs regularly. It does not profit to have my clientele's desires, needs to get out in the open."
fair enough. Well, my opinion is that they are beyond shady. I don't really trust anything that they say. And I don't believe that their story regarding my assault or whatever is true. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I will if I can. Anyway. And I can't say I approve of their methods either.
Perrin will just give a short nod and basically said, "I thought so much." Or,
So,
sorry.
what's your opinion?
Well, I can't say much about their methods, nor do I judge them on them. I've done some pretty shady things in my past. I'll admit it. Gives a small shrug, then gives a playful smile. Life of the businessman. I don't like being lied to.
So, you can confirm that they are not honest about what they're telling us.
Not 100%. They're definitely holding some stuff back. I'm not
Most
100%.
stuff black, I would say.
Mr. X, the man we met with, our group met with, Let's just say he lied several times during our meeting and thought he would get away with it. But, I have a nose for lies. Taps the side of his nose. Comes with being in marketing.
Well, most times I can tell too. I wasn't 100% sure with this Mrs. X that we met.
Now trust me, she's one smooth cat.
I don't much care what she is. What I care about is that I believe that we're being manipulated into doing things we wouldn't normally do.
Does your entire group feel that way?
For the most part,
Interesting. That's a very different divide from what my party seems to feel.
how so?
You say that you're being manipulated into doing things you normally wouldn't do. My group is how should I say it? Well, I do not know about some of them. Both me and another have had in the past experience in the more shady sides of Seattle or San Francisco. Sorry. We've had more experience in the shady sides. I personally, I'll admit, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not 100% spick and spanny shiny clean.
Well, nobody's an angel.
Two other are former military. And the other guy is sort of along your line, but mixed with my line also. He finds items, which is great.
Who are you talking about specifically?
I don't actually think you met him.
Well, I met the ones that were there the other day. And from the ones I met there the other day, let's say a lot was left to be desired. I definitely am a bit appalled by Mr. Banks. I don't know what exactly he is, but when someone introducing himself as a professional, what I'm thinking is something that I definitely not agree with and or approve, and yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Oh, Mr. Banks is awesome. Put it in front of the guy once you get to know him. Jackie. Now, Jackie is a real doll. I've had coffee at her cafe a couple of times.
That both of them are extremely disturbed and dangerous from where I'm standing.
Gives a small shrug and goes, "Oh, like I said, disturbed and dangerous is my kind of party." Then again, any party is really my kind of party, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And he gives a small shrug, chuckle.
Right. But here's the thing. I thought I was uh, hired there for my specific skills, and now I'm sent to deal with things that I'm not prepared or trained to deal with. They said there would be training, but there was no such thing. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
the weird part. Their idea of training was to throw us head deep.
Well, that didn't work out very well for me. I don't like the situation. Like, okay, the test that they did for us, okay, I kinda get it, but it was shady. Like, shady as fuck. I don't know what kind of tests they did for your team, but for mine it was very strange.
Oh, speaking of being thrown in head deep, before I forget, he writes down full name. It's Brian, and I forget the last name. Slides it over. I think you'll be interested in this guy. I believe he was the other one who jumped you a couple nights ago.
Huh. Didn't that guy got shot or something? Wait. Is that the guy with the white hair or the guy with the brown
Brown hair.
eyes?
Huh?
Wasn't he shot?
I think that was a out of character. I think that was a different person who got shot.
Huh.
Because, yeah, I'm
No,
pretty
I
sure it was
think.
a different person.
Okay. No. I think uh, you shot the one with the hoodie that ran away, and you let go the elf guy.
I don't know. I know
So,
I'll have to
so, so,
re-listen to
so,
our
so
thing.
who would be Brian, the one that you let go?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the elf guy. So,
All right.
and you don't remember the last name.
Out of character, I don't, but I probably do in character.
Okay, I'll write that down. When you remember it, text
Yeah.
me.
I'll just re-listen to the thing and get. Um.
How come you let this guy go, by the way? If he was involved in whatever situation happened there.
Well, first I didn't know what the whole situation was. I hadn't met you guys yet. I hadn't realized he was part of the whole whatever went down at the sushi place. And finally, I found it more interesting to let him go and plan on tracking him later, given his unique condition. One of my teammates can sense individuals with the super soldier serum in them.
Okay, so.
This guy had the super soldier serum in him.
Huh. That is the same guy that tried to blow up Valentine.
Yeah, works for some lady named, and I give the lady's name. Again, I don't have this all memorized. It's only been a couple days in character, but out of character, it's been much more.
Yeah, that's why we have to open a notebook and write these things down,
Yeah,
man.
I
I,
have a notebook somewhere.
I have the notepad on the PC open. I have a million tabs on it.
Yeah, I think it was Valentina. No, that's the cop's name.
Well, at least it's something to go on. Maybe I could
Whoever
track
she
him
is,
down.
I'm pretty sure she's a supplier for the drug.
Um, Out of curiosity, have you considered that maybe the company might be behind these?
Maybe, but that would mean they're working for Highwater.
High water?
Again, I don't have my notebook on me, so I'm not actually sure that's the right name, but he'll go on to tell you the guy they shot was a heavy, or no, actually, was some sort of heavily augmented individual
Power
in
core?
Power Core, yeah, working for as a who was working as a for private security in Power Core.
Well, what if Power core is not an adversary? What if it's a subdivision of the company? I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but here's the thing. When I'm having so incomplete information, so incomplete data, contradicting accounts, and lies and shady dealings, my mind goes to the worst possible scenario.
Right. Well, I'm glad we've met. Definitely, clearly, there's been a lot withheld from both our cells. I would perhaps suggest a regular meeting of the minds.
Well, I can agree to maybe have some exchange with you personally. I don't know about the others in your group. No offense, just the ones that I have met, I don't find them trustworthy, at least at this point. And but certainly, if I come up with something that seems of interest to you, I will definitely have a chat with you. A confidential
Great.
chat between me, you, and Bowser.
Yes, indeed. Bowser will be looking forward to it, I'm sure. He's just looking up at you this entire time with those puppy eyes that seem to convey, "Pat me."
Oh, because he's very cute.
Um,
Can I?
oh, go ahead. He's perfectly friendly.
Okay then. She will kneel down and extend her hand for the dog to smell.
Bowser will look up at Perrin, who just gives a slight nod, at which point Bowser just barrels forwards, briefly sniffing your hand before coming into you to get patted.
Oh, hey boy. Oh, he's a cuddle bug.
Most dogs are.
Yeah, well, we have a animatronic dog, not a real one. It's weird, I know. It's yeah. I wouldn't mind a cat though.
Cats are great too.
Yeah, but for a dog this big, I'd need a big place with a garden.
Gives a slight nod and thinks back to his actual house, which the house is actually quite small, but the plot of land it's on is a decent size for that of a San Francisco suburban house. You really lucked out with that one. He gives a small shrug and says, I did a couple of jobs and got a good trade here and there, and eventually was able to get myself a nice little place.
Well, so far we're just living in an apartment. Well, it's not like we need anything more than that, to be honest with you. Pretty low maintenance, don't need much. As long as it's clean. You know?
Grunts and grunts and says, cleanliness is a sign of an organized mind.
I suppose so. Although, I don't believe that this is the only thing that defines a mind's organization. Like, my roommate lives in constant mess or organized chaos, as he calls it. But still, it seems to work out for him. Somehow. Somehow.
Looks mildly horrified at that.
Well, he's the one who will be making the grapple gun.
One of those types.
Yeah, I was tinkering in his room, no less. There's good reason I don't go in there. At least I managed to get him to get a cleaning service for the rest of the apartment because I was getting sick of cleaning after him. Anyway.
Right. I'll go get you your products if we are in agreement.
Certainly, but since I don't have any antiquities to exchange, I do insist on paying for the price of either one of them, actually.
Well, like I said, the magnet was the exchange of price was the exchange of information. So all I need is the price of the rope, and I'll give you I'll give you a special Section 9 discount. I'll knock it down, and he gives a random price. I'll knock it down to 2 resources.
Just make sure it's not in the books, though, as a Section 9 purchase. Right?
Blinks and goes, wait, you think I would let them look at my books?
Fair enough, but it's not like...
Think of it as a friends and family discount.
That works better.
He'll say that, and the promise that if you find any unique antiquities, you'll think of me when looking to sell them.
Well, I'll keep an eye out, that's for sure, and, well, it's not like I have any other contacts about those. So, yeah.
He'll give a huge smile and go, it'll take me a moment. Would you like some tea while you wait?
Tea will be great, yes, thank you.
Alright, and he'll go over to the little hot pot, and then he'll press this button next to the pot, and out it's almost like a rising shelf comes out of the side of the cabinet or counter, and just rises up, It's probably the most advanced thing in this entire place. And it has at least different 50 types of tea.
Just normal Earl Grey will be fine.
A classic type of lady. I do enjoy those. We have a nice hand-picked. I have a nice hand-picked Earl Grey from the northern mountains of the Shanghai province. Let's see, where was it? Here it is.
Are you a tea connoisseur, or you like to have a variety of everything?
Madame, tea is the way of life, he says, almost sounding offended, as he takes out a nice porcelain teacup and saucer, packs the tea into the loose leaf tea into a small steeper, and gently pours the water before walking over towards one of the tables and gesturing you to sit down, and placing the tea before you.
Oh, thanks. Would you leave Bowser here to keep me company?
No, I was just about to ask if you would like his company. Very well. Bowser, stay. And then he turns and heads back into the shop, into the warehouse. And he's gone for a good probably 10, 15 minutes, enough time for you to relax, drink your tea, look around if you want. You'll notice all the rest of the displays are actually very heavily guarded. Like everything's under tight lock and key. Though some of the more simply decorative pieces are simply sitting out before he'll eventually come out with one of those nondescript metal cases. Metal briefcases. He'll place it down in front of you, open it up, and he'll say, I believe this is what you were looking for. I did not exactly know the measurement of rope you were requiring, so I gave you about 600 feet.
I think that's more than good enough.
Alright. I suspect your client, roommate will be able to cut, craft it, do whatever he likes with it. Should he find himself in any other supply needs, I hope he thinks of the odd ends first.
Well, I'll definitely make sure that he visits you. Because he does need some weird stuff. And usually, finding them isn't so easy, but it seems you have a knack for it, so yeah. Do you have a card by any chance?
He'll take out he'll nod, head back into, say one moment please, head, back behind the counter. You'll see him rummaging around a sec. He'll come back with two things. One is a card with his name, the store name, and both a phone number and email address. And the other one is a small little round oriental box. And he says, a lovely gift for the lovely lady.
to raise an eyebrow. What is it exactly?
You're, he says, why, the Earl Grey, of course. You seem to be enjoying it.
Oh, thank you. That's very thoughtful of you.
And he'll smile, nod, and let you finish your tea as he says his goodbyes and cleans up.
Okay. So, I assume the credit transfer has occurred.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Cassandra will put the items in her backpack. We'll give a pat to Bowser because he's a good boy. And then she will wave and start going towards the door.
He'll give you a wave goodbye and wish you luck.
By the way, Mr. Voltrick, if you remember anything else or if you get any other revelations, you should give me a call. And then she'll kind of walk back towards the counter in a fast pace and leave a card, a business card.
Thank you very much, he'll say. And he'll say, I'll be sure to do just that, madame. And he'll just slowly tuck the card into his pocket, side pocket.
Have a nice day now.
He just gives you the most friendly smile as you leave.
And Cassandra fucks off into the sunset. No, it's not sunset because it's day.
I'm more curious how she's fucking off.
Uh.
Sunset. That must be a hot date.
No, that's not what fucking off means. It means he's leaving. Jesus. Okay, do you have any last declarations or an outro for Mr. Perun?
As Perrin watches her walk off, he'll just go, huh. Interesting lady, isn't she, Bowser? Who seems to sneeze at that before turning and rubbing his hands together, making himself his own nice big pot of tea.